यूज्ड टू बी वेरी नॉटी पर्सन, क्योंकि मेरे दिमाग में उस समय सेक्सुअलिटी या कुछ नहीं था। जो मेरी बेस्ट फ्रेंड थी वो एक गर्ल में इंटरेस्टेड थी और उसकी बड़ी बहन में इंटरेस्टेड थी। हम लोग बात करते थे लेकिन कभी ये बात नहीं करते थे कि हम क्या हैं, कभी ओपन नहीं हुए हम एक दूसरे से। तो अपने घर से मैं साड़ी चुरा के लाती थी, मैं परफ्यूम उसकी वो अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड को देती थी, उसकी छोटी बहन को, मैं उसकी बड़ी बहन को। लेकिन हमने कभी डिस्कस नहीं करा अपनी सेक्सुअलिटी के बारे में, हमें पता ही नहीं था हम क्या कर रहे हैं। फ्लर्टिंग चलती रहती थी औरों के साथ, मीठा मीठा दर्द दिल में, हाथ पकड़ना, किसिंग, बस वो उतना तक था। वो भी अच्छा लगता था। जब ब्रेकअप्स होते थे अपने अंदर दिल में रो लेती थी, चुप हो जाती थी। मुझे बताया क्या कभी परेशानी नहीं हुई। दैट्स वेरी स्ट्रेंज, क्योंकि अब जब मेरे पास केसेस आते हैं ना तो मैं उनके बारे में सोचती हूँ कि हम नॉर्मल है, ये है वो है। मैंने कभी सोचा भी नहीं इस बारे में, मैं अपने आप में खुश रही। एक बात का दुख था कि जो आज की डेट में ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं वो मेरे लिए नहीं थी। सो 97 the first organization started on lesbian was Sangni, the first helpline under the umbrella of NAS Foundation.
Basically, people started calling up the helpline, and how many times can you call up a helpline? Because, like, how many times can you talk to somebody over the phone? So the support group started. So people started meeting, and it's basically a space to create some comfort around your own feelings.
लड़कियाँ डरती हैं आते हुए ग्रुप मीटिंग्स में, ये वो कि कोई हमें देख ना ले, कोई हमारी कज़न ना मिल जाए, कोई हमारा रिश्तेदार ना मिल जाए, कोई हमारा भाई ना देख ले वहाँ आते हुए। सो यू नो इट वॉज वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट। कभी 30 लोग, कभी 20 लोग, कभी 3 लोग, कभी 2 लोग, डिपेंड्स। यू नो एवरी टाइम यू कांट टेल योर पेरेंट्स कि एवरी सैटरडे तुम कहाँ जा रहे हो। It's very difficult for a woman.
The basic issues on the helpline are generally around loneliness and around, am I normal or not? What are these feelings about? Like, you know, people have never talked about their feelings, but at some point the pressure really mounts, and that's when a lot of people call up.
मैं ब्रॉटअप हुई अहमदाबाद गुजरात में। जब मैं 13 साल की हुई तो आई स्टार्टेड गेटिंग अट्रैक्टेड टूवर्ड्स वीमेन। फिर फर्स्ट ईयर में मैं जब आई तो मुझे एक फीमेल टीचर जो कि मेरे से शायद 5-6 साल बड़ी होगी उम्र में, उसकी तरफ पहली नज़र में ही प्यार हो गया। पूरे कॉलेज को पता चल गया, सब लोगों ने मुझे लेस्बो चिढ़ाना शुरू कर दिया। 12th स्टैंडर्ड से ही मेरे फादर मेरे पीछे शादी के लिए लग गए थे। मुझे पता था कि मेरे माँ बाप मुझे कभी पढ़ने नहीं देंगे, करियर नहीं बनाने देंगे। उन्होंने मुझे कंटिन्यूसली घर पे बंद करके, मतलब घर पे रखा। अगर मैं नीचे भी जाती थी तो मेरे साथ कोई जाता था, मतलब आई वॉज नॉट अलाउड टू गो एनीवेयर। 23 साल की हो चुकी थी लेकिन मेरा कभी भी लड़कियों से संबंध नहीं हुआ था सेक्सुअली, और मैं बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेटेड रहती थी और उसकी वजह से मैं ज़्यादा डिप्रेस होती थी। तो संगनी को मैंने कांटेक्ट किया तो मैंने बताया मेरे साथ ऐसा ऐसा हो रहा है, तो उन्होंने मुझे गाइडेंस दी कि आपको ऐसा ऐसा, मतलब कि ये लोग कर नहीं सकते आपके साथ ऐसे ऐसे, आपको बंद करके नहीं रख सकते। फिर संगनी पिक्चर में आया, सब प्लानिंग हमने करी छुपके और मतलब फिर फाइनली मैंने घर छोड़ दिया।
We provided her the legal support, like we made her meet the lawyers and everything. And then she decided to pick up a PG accommodation at 2 o'clock in the morning. Her family reached that PG accommodation. I don't know how they found out about the address. Then a call was made to us. We called the lawyers. The lawyers reached there. And then the next day in the morning, she had to go to court. So Petu went with her to the court.
फिर मेरी कोर्ट में पेशी हुई थी 3 मैजिस्ट्रेट के आगे। तीनों मैजिस्ट्रेट, उन्होंने, घर वालों ने पॉइंट बना लिया था डिप्रेशन का और लेस्बियनिज़्म का। मैजिस्ट्रेट ने कहा कि अगर ये लेस्बियन है तो ये इसकी पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम है और डिप्रेशन में है, तो वो भी इसकी पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम है। इस बेसिस पे हम इसकी कस्टडी आपको नहीं दे सकते, और इस तरह से कोर्ट ने मेरे घर वालों को ऑर्डर कर दिया कि आप इसकी ज़िंदगी में डिस्टर्ब नहीं कर सकते।
The understanding that we have of parents in terms of why they so aggressively work against their daughters being with other women is number one, the fear of society, what will society say? And the other thing is that women are often seen as a sort of property, and they cannot really take their own decisions because first they are, they have to listen to what their parents say, and then the parents have to get rid of that responsibility, or they have to fulfill their responsibility to pass her on to somebody else who is going to take responsibility for her, and that's supposed to be her husband.
So in our society today, we have a certain division of labor, we have a certain division of resources and power. And which is what we call patriarchy. So at the heart of that is the married heterosexual couple, who of course has to be the same caste and same religion. So everybody else who breaks these rules, that you have to be the same caste, you have to be the same religion, you have to be of opposite sex. If you break these rules, then you're in trouble and you are punished. And you are punished in order that the heterosexual married couple can be at the top of the ladder. In order to maintain that system, everybody else has to be punished. We as women's groups also recognize that what happens with same-sex desiring people, whether they identify as gay, lesbian, bisexual or not, but if there is same-sex desire and same-sex attraction, that's the reason why rights are violated, and that's the reason why same-sex desire is punished. It has to be punished. So if you're a widow who's sexually active, you're in big trouble. You might even lose your life. In certain contexts, interreligious, intercaste, or same gotra marriages, we know, what the kind of consequences can be. So, which is why our struggle for women's rights goes hand in hand with the rights of LGBT people.
But in some ways, I find the rural and the tribal, especially, very tolerant as well. I think this should be an interesting aspect to really probe further, because you have a lot of couples actually living together and they are accepted, and the ability to wear what they want, to make their hair cut it short. I think these are some things that would be hard to understand in the urban side. And here you have these women riding motorcycles, driving jeeps. So visibility is also about how you perceive what you see outside in the world and redefine those parameters. So as much as we were defining our parameters, the reality was already existing there.
The Indian cultural attitude and sexual attitude was completely different. There was no such thing as criminalizing sexual offences. But it is the British who had the legacy of criminalization of sexual behaviors, and then particularly homosexuality, that we had this law being put on the statute book. The practice which was criminalized was penile non-vaginal sex. So it applied to everybody. But of course, you could not have police raiding into homes of heterosexual couples. That would disrupt society, as it were. So the easy target for that was basically homosexual.
So the thing is that, women's issues are always treated as second class, I think, in India. And to put the issue of sexuality on it, it's a double, victimization or discrimination, and therefore it's a double disempowerment for the woman. women form probably 50% of the population, but they still remain invisible.
Most times women are invisible and unwritten in the text of anything. But ultimately, the more indirect it is, the harder it becomes. So we did have these debates while we were campaigning for reading down Section 377. Do we include or exclude women? Because they are not there, so why should we bother? So it's like, going by taking the route of silence. You can live as female friends and nothing will happen. But I think it does have an impact because the way against the nature would implicate women as well.
Human rights organizations, women's groups, workers' groups, all groups coming together. So it was a protest that was planned like that, initiated by the queer group. So as part of the queer group in the city, women and lesbian women's groups also we come together. Anybody of same-sex orientation can be seen as indulging in criminal activity, So that is a tool in the hands of the police. So if that goes out or there's a reading down of it, then it makes a big difference to the community. Although the case is going on and there are positive signals in the media and in the public discourse, you see that the police still, wherever they can attack, they attack, and they catch the most marginal. So the hijdas or women end up being the most marginal, and so they tend to attack. So there is still a big gap between what the law might say and the real living experience of people.
Often when people think about Section 377, the assumption is that it doesn't affect women, But the fact is that, of course, it does. And how can it not? Because it's not only about the technical wording of the law. The fact is that, and it's happened as well, when there have been women who've been in love and there have been parents who've been opposing them, that the opposition of the parents is hugely supported by a law like 377. The parents do and have turned around and said that what you are doing is wrong. Not only do we think it's wrong, even the law of the land thinks that it's wrong.
Many of the parents also go outrightly to the police without even realizing how difficult it will be for their own children. So when they go to police, it's like, the police, they are teaching morals to the people there, and like why should you behave like this? Why should you behave like a man? Or why should you behave like a woman? Complete policing. Second thing, they have no clues in what cases they should be arrested in. But if it is lesbian, bisexual women and female to male trans people, all that they can think about is a missing complaint or a kidnap case.
This is a case of two Muslim lesbian girls. I can't name the name. But these girls from Bombay had, fallen in love and went to Delhi to avoid a problem with one of the girl's parents. But the girl's parents actually made a criminal complaint with the police, which is completely false.
So the case is basically this, that a girl was caught with her girlfriend. Now the father then threatened them. So what the two girls did is they collected some money and they ran off. Then the father threatened them in the sense that he will shoot them. So when they ran off, the father then wasn't able to track them down. He put a case that the daughter has stolen some money or some jewelry from the house and fled. So now that becomes a criminal case.
They came to Delhi. They started staying with us. Within 24 hours, the father had traced them. I saw about 30 people. There was Delhi police, members of the Delhi police. There were members of the police of the city where they came from, and there were a lot of family members. The father was also here, the uncle was here, the brother was here. They were approaching really quickly. So I tried to close the gate so that at least we are, safe. then they started shouting, catch them, catch them. So they caught me and they caught one other person. They were just dragging us out and like on our hair, and they just like Poonam lost a chain, and then they were parading us outside and kept us in a police car.
मैंने देखा कि माया को उसके बालों से पकड़ के उसको ड्रैग कर रहे हैं, तो मेरा प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड था, मैंने जल्दी से लॉक करा क्योंकि वो पर्पसली कर रहे थे कि इसको पकड़ के ले जाएंगे तो इसको ही पकड़ लेंगे तो हम लड़कियों को पकड़ सकते हैं। और फिर वो लोग हैमर लेकर आए, उन्होंने बोला हम दरवाज़ा तोड़ रहे हैं। मैंने कहा जो तोड़ना है तोड़ो तुम, मैं यहीं खड़ी हूँ, मैं तुम्हें मना नहीं कर रही, ना ही मैं घबरा रही हूँ आप लोगों से। फिर मैंने उन लड़कियों को एक कमरे में छुपा दिया। मैंने बोला कि उनको तुम चुपचाप दीवार से चिपके खड़े रहो, क्योंकि वो चारों तरफ से घर की खिड़कियों में से देखने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। मैंने आई स्टार्टेड कॉलिंग अप पीपल, lawyers, Anjali Gopalan and everybody, you know.
So then I saw other people coming, like Anjali Gopalan and the media coming, and suddenly I saw everybody dispersing.
जब lawyers आए और पुलिस सारी भाग गई मीडिया के आने के बाद, तब मैंने दरवाज़ा खोला था।
Finally, Anjali took them. One of them, she left to stay with her brother, and the other one, she had to be shifted from one place to the other. For 70 days, she was going from one place to the other.
And in the meantime, the girlfriend had fled India. She left for London, I think, or US, wherever. So there was only this woman left, and she had to come to Bombay to face the court.
We applied for anticipatory bail. Session court said that you must produce her. So we produced her in the High Court actually. And the court said, okay. Now as far as, so that bail was granted.
We had to provide surety. Geeta and Pallav came forward, basically gave their names as the people who would take care of this woman legally. The last I heard was that she had gone back to Delhi to pick up her stuff, and she's back in Bombay because of this arrangement with the father that he won't do anything in the surety. So I assume that she's in Bombay somewhere at the moment.
There have been instances of violence, stigma, discrimination, job problems. In fact, youngsters who sort of want to dress as boys, for example, the F2Ms, they've been severely punished, like tied in the rooms, locked up, hung up on the fan, and having to take to streets, and consequently a whole life changing.
More than the sexuality, the problem starts with the gender. If you say about one female to male person who obviously they look different. See, the F2Ms basically say that, some people will say that I am a man, or some people will accept that, yeah, I am a female but I want to be a man, or I want to change my sex, kind of. Some people will identify as, say that, female to male trans. I am F2M. It is difficult them to come out, obviously, because, and also the thing is to express their self or to say that my sexuality is this. They don't have the freedom. So, and they're scared with the thing, like, to say also. Whatever feelings is there in me, it will be inside me. I can't express it. Obviously, like, it is like people will be scared to express that because so-called natural is there. 2-3 years ago, there was one case where this F2M and another friend of him, another F2M, were sitting and having dinner in a small roadside restaurant, and a passerby, one of the guy who came into the restaurant, casually, slightly drunk could be, one doesn't know, picked up a fight with them and started beating this F2M, with rods and everything. And somebody from behind in that area screamed saying, oh, that's not a boy, that's a girl. Next thing was he is saying that, oh, it is a woman, it's not looking like that, so I want to see, kind of thing, and tore his shirt. Then to escape from there, he bit his hand and escaped from there. And when we went to the police station, they refused to take the complaint, one. The other thing was like, police started asking that, why she is like this. It is a girl or a woman or whatever it is.
We didn't know them as trans. We knew them as this woman just wearing men's clothes and behaving like in masculine behaviors. The thing is, with a lot of women now recognizing that they're in the wrong body, I have counseled some of them. My issue is that we don't have enough information or enough of a counseling or psychotherapy available in India where it needs to be explored deeper with each individual. So, for example, if I fall in love with a woman and because heterosexuality mainstream says I have to be a man to love a woman, is it because I want to change my body? Is it because of that? Or is it because I inherently feel that I'm in a wrong body?
See, actually, as I was growing up, I realized something was different, in me, okay, but I couldn't figure out. There was nobody to whom I could talk or share or ask why this is happening particularly with me, as such. But it was like I always used to like within me and think about it and why is it with me, okay. And that time I knew the word, these people are called lesbians. So I always used to think that I'm a lesbian. And after that I came in touch with some lesbian friends, for the first time, and I started interacting with them. And I always used to think that I feel I'm not comfortable here, I feel something different. So, but I couldn't figure out that what was different, okay. Like I started feeling very uncomfortable with my body, and I spoke to one of my lesbian friends. She was close to me that time. So I told her ki, see, I am not comfortable with my body. I wish I did not had breasts. So she was like, why you feel like that? I mean, I am very comfortable, so stay as you are. Why you have to feel like this? So, but I was not convinced with her answer because I was not comfortable. So that is when I started thinking, ki why I feel like this and why don't they feel like that. That time I came in touch with my first trans friend, and that is the time when I realized that there is a thing called a trans man or a transgender. And that is how I started realizing about myself, like okay, so maybe I'm a trans. So I started knowing myself more. Biologically I am a female, but from inside my soul is not of a girl. I don't think like a female. I am not at all comfortable with this body. I mean, definitely want a guy's body. After my graduation, I was at home for 1 year. My mom had a small accident where she fell down on the road and she broke her knee, one of the kneecaps. She was totally bedridden during last year, and everything has to be, I used to do like everything. I mean, you understand, right? So I thought that if I tell her about me, then she will become very uncomfortable, which I never wanted to do. I wanted to come out to her. I wanted to tell her about myself, but she suddenly passed away, so I never got a chance to tell her. It is a regret. Now that I have started my SRS process, it is a very stressful process because as you take hormones, you are going through counseling and you are meeting doctors and you are thinking about, you are planning everything. So that itself is a very stressful process. So my voice will become more manly and my shoulders will broaden and my body structure will become more manly and
For women, there's different, there's top surgery and there's bottom surgery. So they have a choice of what they want to do. I know a few of them that have done the top surgery and have changed their names and their identity. Legally, no. At the moment, it's just, living in their own skin.
So on that historic day, I was sitting inside the courtroom, and it was just, I don't have the words actually. So when Justice Shah started, reading out the judgment, I mean, the tears were just flowing. There was like no stopping them. It was just a very, very. It sounds just, I don't know. It sounds silly to say it, but it was amazing, and it was so moving, and it was just literally, yeah, one of the happiest days of my life.
What the judgment has done per se is, it has made in this particular section adult consensual sex in private not a crime. It's read down the provision saying that adult consensual sex in private is not an offense. Many of them used to say that what I am doing is illegal. What relationship which I have is unacceptable. It's immoral. It's crime. And it's a sin. This is the construct. All these construct that was with this community which I work with. To a degree, this judgment has said you can at least have sex with your partner in your home.
The Delhi High Court decision from 2009, what are the main difference I see is that we have a lot more younger people from, let's say, 18, not even 18, 20 to mid 20s or late 20s, who are more empowered about their sexuality. So it's not about, being guilty. When the coming out process is to oneself, when you're exploring sexuality. But 20 years ago, I used to sort of think, is this right or not? That sense of is it right or not is not there. People just are.
People identify me as a soft butch because I cry a lot in relationship and I'm a bit emotional. So that's why, yes, I'm a soft butch. And usually I'm the more, not the dominating part, but yes, I am the man in the relationship. Usually I fall for all the femme and andro women. I usually don't look at a butch female the way I usually look at the femme girl. In last 1 year, all my close friends who I thought was straight have come out to me and told me that, dude, I'm bisexual, dude, I am a lesbian. I mean, the girl I've been dating before, I always thought she was straight when I had a crush on her, but then a year back she came up to me and she asked me out and she told me I was always in love with you. I was just scared of the society.
My first crush was my English teacher, and she was a woman. So I always knew, and somehow, I don't know, I was always sure that it's okay. So, I really thought I was very cool about it. So I never read up, I just knew the word lesbian. I knew I was lesbian. I never knew there was a community. I never knew there were other people existing. I didn't even bother after a point. But I really wanted to see if I could be physically or emotionally attracted to men. And I tried every sort of man. I think in the dictionary of men I've tried every. Be it physically, tall, short, fat, not fat, thin, lanky, intelligent, not intelligent, English speaking, not English speaking, rich, not rich. I've tried everything that's possibly under the sun. And I wanted to try everything because maybe I'm not dating the right guy, Maybe I'm not dating. So I went from man to man to man to man to man. It didn't work out. I think 2011 is when I decided that, okay, you know what, this is enough. You fooled yourself enough. You know it, I know it, it's not going to work. And that was the end of it. I said, I'm not going to date any more men. And surprisingly now, suddenly on Facebook, I would see anybody and all the women who were gay or lesbian, I would start finding them. Just because I stopped telling myself that no more men, suddenly I saw all these women around me who were gay and interested in women, and I was like, where the were they before, and why was I not seeing them before?
I don't mind being called a lesbian if I was actually a lesbian, okay? I think I would have held a tag very highly and very proudly. But when I'm bisexual, it somehow feels that this is not the correct identity that you're giving me, and I don't identify with it. And one is like one is sort of cutting away one part of me which I accept wholeheartedly. So I mean, people want to. A lot of people think that you are confused, and it's time that as activists you should take stand. But the fact is, I'm taking a stand as a bisexual.
The reason I identify as a bisexual is because for me, when I say I love a person, it doesn't matter to me which gender the person is. When I was with my boyfriend, I was with him, I was loyal, I was faithful, and I loved him. And it was the same with the girl too, you know, I was loyal, I was faithful, I didn't look at anyone else other than her. She was the center of my universe. I don't know, like I can't choose. I mean, that's the reason I am a bi, you know, like I can't choose. I mean, guys have this, girls have that, and girls are so soft and nice. You know, but then like and you know, but men are like big and they're protective and they're like, they bear hug you and it's warm, you know, so I can't really choose. I'm just 23 right now, you know, I have my whole life in front of me, you know. I have a lot of experiences that I need to undergo, I mean, to feel, you know. So I don't want to limit myself, and like I'm not particularly looking at a boy or at a girl. I'm looking to meet interesting people who will, and if things are compatible, I'll be with you, you know, I'll be with that person regardless of the gender, you know.
I identify myself as a genderless person. Means I don't feel like a man nor like a woman. So I'm still in a process of like letting myself know what I am. Like, it's nothing political about it. It's just the way I feel.
The Delhi High Court judgment affirms that a person has the right, you know, to live in India with dignity and privacy. So it's not even to do about sex, it's about living as a free person in India. It's allowed us to, you know, have events, talk about it. And the other thing is a lot more married women are calling up now. Pre 2009, I barely had one or two, but now probably every month I have a few married women calling up and saying, this is what I feel, what do I do, where can I meet people, how does this work?
Look, there are now some women who have, for example, left their husbands and live on their own, but a lot of women basically try to adjust their feelings within the setup of a marriage.
Some of the married women I speak to do not have the financial resources to go out on their own. But there are some women I've met who have divorced, but they're probably like, the age matters. Once they feel that the kids are able to understand and look after themselves, then they broach the subject and then they get a divorce and probably live their life. But generally I found married women are not able to get out of a marriage situation once they realize that they prefer, you know, sex with women. We're seeing a lot of younger crowd coming in within the communities to basically, you know, find people like them. So that's the thing, and also the conversations are changing. A lot more parents are changing. I have a lot more people coming in asking me, how do I talk to my parents? Or how do I talk to my extended family? So that type of conversation has changed.
I'm not somebody who takes a problem and keeps it on her head for so long. I deal with the problem or I don't let it affect me. So I messaged my mother, I was in office. I messaged her around 1:30 saying that, do you understand the word gay? She said, what happened? I said, no, I want to know if you understand the word. She's like, yeah, I understand. So she said it in Hindi, jo log shaadi ke layak nahi hote. I said, no, that's not the real word. The real thing is that people who fall in love with people from the same gender is what I said. So then she's like, okay, are you? Question mark. So I said, that is my moment of truth. Either I delay it, either I beat around the bush, or I just say it. So I said, yeah, I am. So she told me, let's talk in the evening. So in the evening at 6:30, she called me, and that's when she said, what did you tell me? So tell me in detail. So I told her that I am gay, and you know, that's the thing. So then she's like, but since when? What has happened? Tell me from the beginning. When did you feel the first time? She wanted to know everything that has happened. When I said I do not have attraction towards men, she said, how do you know? Have you slept with men? Have you had physical relationships with men? Then I had to say that yes, I've had physical relationships to know that I'm not attracted to a man. She said, okay, but how do you say that you're attracted to women? Have you had physical relationship with women then? I said, yeah. So of course it was a lot of oh my god moments there, but which she was like, she gasped, but then she let go and then she asked another question. But her reaction to it was, if I was single today, I don't think it would matter. I think I'm still okay about it. The only thing that I'm worried about is your father and your father's family. So if they can take it well, I'm today also okay about it. So we'll have to see how to go about that. She was very okay. I mean, surprisingly, I was just like, what ho gaya? Yahi tha. I was just like, itna hota hai.
You know, once that mask slips off, not slips off, you take it off and you decide, I don't care, now I am this, I am here, and that's it. If you don't like me, fine, you know. So like that's what I did, like slowly, you know, like all those people who I like in class, and you know, like to them I slowly came out, you know. It was like one whole week of coming out, and you know, they had so many questions, and it was good, but like, you know, they were so happy for me, and most of the people were like, I'm so proud of you, I'm so proud of you. I came out to my flatmates, and I came out to my landlady. Actually, somebody snitched on me and told her, and she's a very religious Catholic lady, you know, this really sweet Portuguese Goan woman, you know, and she's like, this is a sin, you are living in sin. She confronted me and I told her, yeah, and I just like had one huge sensitization thing, and even by the end of it, she wasn't really convinced. So I left her with this huge, you know, like, I mean, closing statement. And I was like, you know, Auntie, I hope you find it in your heart. You know, I hope someday that you will, you know, understand enough that there are people in this world who are happy just being with a person, and it doesn't matter to them which sex they belong to, which gender they belong to. And I hope someday you will understand. And I made a grand exit.
So a year back, my father kicked me out of the house after I came out to him. So I live alone right now. My father was the best thing I could ever get. He was my stepfather. Still, he took care of me for like almost 9 years. And it was a shock for me when he kicked me out of the house. I mean, I was almost in tears. I didn't know what to do. I had my camera, I had my laptop, that's it. Now I laugh on it because that time I cried. Now I think, okay, maybe I was meant to be alone and learn things on my own. So.
Hi, I'm Sonali. I'm 36 years old. मैं एक लेस्बियन हूँ. मेरा नाम अलका है. मैं 38 इयर्स की हूँ और मैं एक प्राउड लेस्बियन हूँ. मेरा नाम निशा है. मैं 20 साल की हूँ. बहुत गर्व है कि मैं लेस्बियन हूँ. मेरा नाम सोनल ज्ञानी है. मेरी उम्र अभी 24 साल की है and I'm bisexual.
मेरा नाम अफिया है. मैं 26 साल की हूँ. मैं एक बाइसेक्सुअल हूँ. कई 10 साल पहले जब मैंने टीवी न्यूज़ की दुनिया में कदम रखा था, तब सपने में भी नहीं सोचा था कि एक दिन कुछ लड़कियां नेशनल टेलीविजन पर आकर ये कबूल कर सकेंगी कि वो समलैंगिक हैं. सोनाली, क्या हमेशा से इतना आसान था सारी दुनिया के सामने खुलकर कहना कि मैं एक लेस्बियन हूँ?
कभी भी आसान नहीं था. मैं भी इतने दिन बाद I got the courage to say it and I'm really happy about it कि मैं बोल सकती हूँ टीवी में सब लोगों के सामने.
आसपास के लोगों का बहुत प्रेशर होता है कि इवन इफ यू आर अ बाइसेक्सुअल और अ लेस्बियन, एक्ट स्ट्रेट.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि सोसाइटी में जनरली आपको दिखाना पड़ता है कि आप स्ट्रेट हो. Like initially जो मेरा first workplace था, I could not ever be open there and say I'm gay.
मैं यूपी से बिलोंग करती हूँ. मैंने अपने आप को स्वीकार किया है कि मैं एक लड़की होने के नाते ही एक लड़की को प्यार करती हूँ. सो मैंने अपने आप को एक लड़की एक्सेप्ट किया हुआ है क्योंकि भगवान ने मुझे एक लड़की बनाया हुआ है. पर मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग लोगों को काफ़ी हुई है. कभी कभी रेस्टोरेंट में एक वेटर आता है, मुझे बोलता है यस सर क्या चाहिए आपको. फिर देखते हैं, फिर बोलता है सॉरी मैम, सॉरी सर मैम, कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. और रास्ते पे चलते हैं तो थोड़ी मेरी बॉडी है तो कभी लोग बोलते हैं सलमान खान जा रहा है, क्या बॉडी है, सनी देओल जा रहा है. तो मैं सिर्फ एज अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री उसको लेती हूँ क्योंकि मुझे अच्छा लगता है. मुझे सलमान खान कोई बोल रहा है तो मेरी बॉडी है. मैं चाहती थी अगर मैं दुनिया में आई हूँ तो कुछ अलग करके जाऊँ. कुछ ऐसा करो जो आपके बाद भी लोग आपको याद रखें. भले एक पल के लिए याद करें पर आपको याद करें. सबका यही सोचना था कि एलबीटी के लिए कोई ना कोई ग्रुप होनी चाहिए, हर कोई सोच रहा था कोई ग्रुप होनी चाहिए, कोई ग्रुप होनी चाहिए। मैं, सोनल, श्रुता, काफ़ी लोग थे। फिर हमने खुद ने सोचा कि ग्रुप होना चाहिए, हम क्यों सोच रहे हैं, हम क्यों नहीं ग्रुप बना रहे हैं। और फिर हमने फरवरी 2011 में पहला उमंग का ऑफिशियली मीटिंग किया यहाँ पे।
So Umang really started off with more of Raj's friends, because you know they were already quite together, and I guess their idea of the group was really that they wanted to support each other as friends and be there for each other. What began as a group of 11-12 people thinking, you know, together over 2 years has really become 72 people, and I think that's a very big number in terms of women. We have people from all varied backgrounds and varied classes and varied ages, so that makes Umang very interesting for me, where and all these people want to be equally involved in moving Umang forward.
आउटडोर गेम रखना, ओवरनाइट पिकनिक रखना, शॉर्ट पिकनिक रखना, ये सारे इवेंट्स चालू किए। और हर बुधवार को हम चिल आउट डे मनाते हैं, जिसमें एवरी वेडनेसडे वर्क के बाद जो 7-8 बजे के बाद लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं, हम चिट चैट करते हैं और बाहर डिनर के लिए या पार्टीज़ के लिए जाते हैं। हम यहाँ पे गेस्ट लेक्चर भी बुलाते हैं, हम यहाँ पे रिसर्चर बुलाते हैं, साइकेट्रिस्ट बुलाते हैं, ताकि लोगों को पता चले कि क्या है ये, क्यों है ये, किस लिए है ये, जो सवाल उनके मन में है कि क्या ऐसा हो सकता है, हम ऐसे ही क्यों हैं और ये चीज़ ऐसी ही क्यों है, वो सारी डाउट्स उनके अंदर क्लियर हो।
We've been having a couple of crisis cases coming in. A lesbian couple had walked in, a same-sex couple. So they had walked in, and one of them is Muslim, and Muslim in the sense that she is actually wearing burqa, and family is kind of orthodox and very into their religion, and she basically was feeling discomfort to come out to her family, and so you know we've helped her come out with the help of a counselor to her family, and now her family has become really accepting. They've accepted the girlfriend also. They've given her a place to live with the girlfriend. So I think that's been like a huge.
ऐसे तो काफ़ी सारे क्राइसिस हैं जो उमंग और हमसफ़र ने मिल के हैंडल किए हुए। ऐसा केस जिसमें पहली बार मुझे घर से 3 दिन बाहर रहना पड़ा था। काफ़ी फेमस केस है ये कम्युनिटी में एक्चुअली।
कैसे तैसे करके मैं बॉम्बे आई, मतलब जहाँ भी जॉब मांगने जाती थी, मतलब क्वालिफ़िकेशन कुछ थी नहीं, खाली बीकॉम। हर कोई लड़का मतलब कि सेक्स करना चाहता था मुझसे। मैं एक आदमी के साथ रही, मतलब ही वॉज माई फ्रेंड, ही वॉज मेकिंग मी फूल कि मैं तेरा ये कर दूँगा, वो कर दूँगा, एंड ही जस्ट वॉन्टेड टू स्लीप अराउंड विथ मी। मेरे को ये बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं था, क्योंकि मुझे लड़कों के साथ बिल्कुल सोना अच्छा नहीं लगता। मुझे आई एम अ लेस्बियन, आई हैड टू डू डैट बिकॉज आई हैड नो ऑप्शन। तो मुझे फ्लैश ट्रेड भी करना पड़ा। मेरा मेंटली भी, मैं उससे मेरे पैनिक अटैक्स बढ़ जाते थे। आई डिसाइडेड कि जीने का कोई मतलब नहीं है, जीने की इच्छा ही ख़त्म हो गई। तो I wrote on the Facebook that I'm committing suicide.
I actually sent her an SMS when I saw it saying, you know, Sonia, what's happening? Give me a call. So at that stage, I think she was very, very incoherent, didn't know what was happening. And then she called me immediately. So what I did immediately was basically take down the number of the hotel she was staying at. In the meantime, I also pasted on Facebook, you know, I've spoken to her and I'm on my way to meet her. If somebody can come with me, it'll be awesome. I picked up Raj from Borivali, and then I went basically to the hotel, got access to the hotel, and I saw Sonia there, lying down there.
उसने काफ़ी सारे डिप्रेशन पिल्स खाए हुए थे, कैंची से अपने हाथ की नसें काटी हुई थी, और हमको लहूलुहान हालत में एक होटल के बेड पे मिली हुई थी। और उसको लेके जाना प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल वालों ने हाथ ऊपर कर लिया कि इसके हार्ट ब्लॉकेजेस कभी भी हो सकते हैं, ये मर सकती है, हम रिस्क नहीं ले सकते, क्योंकि ये पुलिस केस है। हम चाहते थे कि हम सेक्सुअलिटी की बातें ओपन ना करें, क्योंकि इसे पुलिस और टाइट क्वेश्चंस करेगी। पर उस लड़की ने अपने बयान में बता दिया था अपने बारे में कि वो लेस्बियन है, जिसकी वजह से पुलिस के और क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग हमारे साथ ज़्यादा होने लगे थे। थोड़ी सी परेशानी आई थी उस चीज़ों के बारे में, पर जैसे कि हम पहले से ही केसेस हैंडल करते हैं, और पुलिस के साथ बात कर चुके हैं, तो हमें इतनी डिफ़िकल्टी तो आई पर इतनी नहीं आई उसमें।
So she was in hospital for about 3 or 4 days and she went home. She was under psychiatric care. And then she moved out she did go to Delhi for a bit and then she moved back to Bombay and sort of tried to live her life, independent life after that.
And I have been going to the gym for now 6-7 months now, so feeling much stronger, muscular and feeling good. I mean, as you can see, my voice has changed a lot. You can see a little bit beard here coming, so feels great. And my body structure has like broadened, and so it's very easier for me to pass as a guy, very easy. I feel more comfortable. I'm more confident now. Like earlier, I was scared, going in the gents compartment in the trains. But now, like confidently, I can go and I go in the gents compartment. Yeah, I came out to my father last year in October 2012. Like I told him in मराठी, like मी स्त्रीच्या बॉडीमध्ये, मी पुरुष आहे स्त्रीच्या बॉडीमध्ये आणि मी कम्फर्टेबल नाही आहे जसं आता आहे तसं, तर मला सेक्स चेंज करायचं आहे आणि मला पुरुष बनायचं आहे. ही वॉज लाईक मला माहिती होतं की तू डिफरंट आहे म्हणून, तर मला ते चालेल, मला चालेल जे तू करणार आहेस ते, पण तू लग्न करू नकोस. So he's like, I won't be comfortable if you marry a girl, get married to a girl and get her here. You have as many affairs you want, but don't get married. And I was like, okay, as you say. So it's like, it's like a, not compromise, it's like, and it's fine with me. I mean, I'm sure after a few years, he will change his mind.
When he came to me about 3 years ago, he was still struggling with who he was, how to speak with his family, how much he'll disclose and everything. So for me, it was very interesting to see that as I mentored him throughout his journey, his growth has been phenomenal in the sense in the self-empowerment, in the confidence he's gained, and the steps he's taken medically to actually be who he is. I've seen him just grow from a very shy young man into a very confident and empowered young man who's now on his way medically to become a man.
I had decided that this time when I go, I'm going to speak to my mom about it. Darjeeling is a small town, so obviously when it comes to a topic like this, they're not very involved in their notions. I didn't want my mother hearing what they have to say about homosexuality, but hear it from me and what it actually is. I spoke in Nepalese and it's difficult to find the words. I had to explain everything to her, what exactly a lesbian is, what the difference between gay person and hijra is, what trans is, what bisexuality is. She said something like, don't talk nonsense, people like us should not be involved in anything like this. So I told her, see, I am dating a guy right now. If tomorrow if I get a girl home, are you going to disown me? So she was like, of course not, but if you get married to a girl, then I'd prefer if you don't come back here. So for a moment I was heartbroken, but then she said, I'll come wherever you are if you don't come here. So that was all I needed. I knew at that moment that she has understood what it is, what I am, and that I'm still her daughter, that it doesn't change anything for her one way or the other.
With Prashansa, there was like compatibility would be the, it's like we could sync our thoughts and probably like complete each other's sentences even before we. I hadn't met too many bisexual people before, but when I met her and like, people actually talk about people from the community being suppressed and like being tormented by family, and they like I generally sense that they would be in some sort of a depression mood, but she didn't resemble anything close. She was a power packed, like a bottle of whatever. She's like Coke, Mentos dropped in Coke, like the way she blew up.
Since I have the support of my family and friends, and for the first time in my life, I don't have any insecurities as such. And I feel like nothing can stop me. I feel unstoppable, indefeatable, indestructible. That's how I feel.
I came across Sonal's profile. So there was this one line where she had written, I'm queer and I don't want to talk about it. Or don't ask me this question. And this one line she had written, which really hit me, and that's when I was like, okay, she's intelligent and she's smart and she's witty and I want to at least know her. And then I saw her online one day and I said, okay, it's good to just, message her and chat up and everything. And so one day she just messaged me saying that call me on this number, and I'm like, wow, okay.
And I met her at this restaurant called Candies. That was another very interesting episode, because I was so nervous that day that when I entered Candies, she was seated, right? And there was this fan, like a floor fan. And I was so nervous that, I managed to make the floor fan fall down. Not only did I make the floor fan fall down, when I sat down, the cutlery fell, the fork fell, the spoon fell. And best part was, when I finally got up, the chair also fell. So I was like, okay, man, I'm making an impression. I'm like super nervous. But she liked me, and soon after that we became friends for 2-3 months, and then after that we decided to date each other.
One day casually we were lying on the bed and she just looks up at me and says, will you be my girlfriend? I said, are you pulling at my leg? Are you pulling my leg? Like, no, nothing better to do. She was really upset. So I was like, why are you upset? She's like, but I asked you about to be my girlfriend and you're like, not even bothered, and what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, that was serious? Oh shit, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was serious. I thought you're just pulling my leg at it. So then I said, okay, and so that's how it actually happened.
Immediately went in the next half an hour, updated my status to Sonal Gani is in a relationship. And I messaged all my friends that, I'm in a relationship with Upasna.
One, her innocence, she's very innocent. Second, she's very patient. Then her intelligence level, she's very cute. And then the fifth thing would be that she gives me enough space.
She's first of all a very good listener. That's how I really started liking her. That's a hallmark quality of hers. Besides being a good listener, she's very caring, very, very caring. And she's very generous. And she's very loving. And very smart and intelligent. So that's like 6 things.
I'm looking forward to December when I see the 377 verdict coming out, because I am very fond of weddings and I really want to get married.
A lot of people think we make a very cute couple, because we are the kind of couple who would go and get drinks for your girlfriend and get chips for your girlfriend. So.
I want to have a full Yash Raj wedding, like a full 6-7 day affair with like dance and Bollywood numbers and Sangeet mein everybody performing and all that. I really want that. I'm very Bollywood, I'm very filmy. I'm filmy at everything.
In July 2009, a landmark judgment by the Delhi High Court ruled that it was no longer a criminal offence for consenting homosexual adults to be together. Today, the Supreme Court's judgment is expected, and whichever way the court ruled, it's likely to be a big turning point for gay rights in India.
Top story right now, dealing a severe blow to the gay, lesbian and transgender community in India. The Supreme Court has said that gay sex between consenting adults remains a criminal offence.
Supreme Personal Law Board had filed a petition before the Supreme Court challenging the judgment of the Delhi High Court, which had held that that Section 377 IPC as unconstitutional. Supreme Court today has set aside the judgment of the Delhi High Court, and the Supreme Court has dealt that it is constitutionally valid, and it has said that further said that the Union of India, if they want to delete it from the statute book, they will be at liberty to do so.
I'm right now in too much shock to even speak. I mean, every other country is, so progressive, and how can this is a very regressive verdict.
Personally, it breaks my heart. But I think that I've been around in public action for so long that one has also gotten used to breaking of hearts by those in power.
It obviously shows that there are people whose mindsets still need to change in society, including judges.
2009 के पहले का जो ये 1800 साल का जो कायदा है, जिस मतलब ब्रिटिश लॉ है, कॉलोनियल लॉ है, उसके बारे में फिर से we will go back to that, ये बिल्कुल लगा नहीं था.
First time, I think in legal history, that your rights that have been given to you are being taken back. If the Delhi High Court was about reading down 377, I see this judgment as reading down the Constitution of India.
It has galvanized a lot of people to speak out, to come out, to a lot of even politicians for the first time to make some positive statements. So at least it's become a major national issue. All the political parties have to take cognizance and say something. So that has its downsides but also has its upsides.
समलैंगिक संबंध को लेकर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आपको बता दें कि एक फैसला सुनाया है जिसमें अपराध बताया है समलैंगिक संबंध को और कहा है कि कानून इसकी इजाजत नहीं देता.
धर्म ग्रंथ में समलैंगिकता को नैतिक नहीं कहा है, इसका मतलब वो सभी धर्म ग्रंथों के अनुसार अनैतिक है.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट का हक है कि ये तय करना कि कोई कानून संवैधानिक है या नहीं संवैधानिक है, और पार्लियामेंट का हक है कानून बनाना. वो अपना हक अदा करेंगे, हम अपना हक अदा करेंगे.
Legally, we will explore all the options that are available, which includes the review petition and possibly a curative petition. We have to discuss that within the team and with the petitioner. But I think the movement for equality and the movement for LGBT rights is now unstoppable.
With my mother, and I just happened to ask her if she's seen the news. She said yeah, and then her next line was, what will we do? What is going to be our next step? Because I'm not out to my father yet, and how are we going to approach him and tell him anything about this when the law says that it's illegal.
My boyfriend, my partner, just by giving me shelter also, because when things go wrong, they can use everything against you, so tomorrow I don't want to have to, I don't want him to get into trouble because he's sheltering a criminal.
We are already getting lots of emails telling, women telling us, please do something, please change that law, because now we have to, we have to get, some are forcefully getting married, or they don't really know what steps they can take now.
A lot of the couples who lived as female friends now say, people will guess who we are. And what does that imply? They won't get houses on rent. people will look at them with suspicion. And for example, even a lot of F2M who do not want to go for SRS may want to really go because to pass as men. For the LBT women, institutions, for example, workplace that discriminate, or families will really get an upper hand.
A lot of women wrote to me immediately after the judgment, and they had the same feeling that, no, does this mean that now I can't say that I have a partner? Does this mean I can't hold their hands? How do we put the message across that no, it's okay to hold hands, it's okay to, you know, be in love or talk about yourself? How do you separate this love and, you know, this criminal act angle? How do you do it?
I've had maybe 2 interventions so far with parents who basically said, you know, you just cannot be out. Have advised the kids not to be out. And obviously, a lot of young adults do not want to go back in the closet. They've tasted freedom, and the freedom is great for them. It's great for self-esteem, it's great for confidence. And they just want to continue living their lives like that.
Like, I'm a born optimistic. I'm optimistic to the level of foolishness at times. But I will have my Ashraj Films wedding. I will have it. I will have all my Sangeet. I know who, and I think I also know who's going to be dancing on what, and what are they going to be wearing. I think I have everything planned in my head. So I think a little bit of wait, but yeah, we'll get there.
My personal feeling is that it's even more important that more and more of us come out, so people know that this is normal, and you know, we are not minuscule. Like we are not a minuscule minority, and you cannot say that we, you know, our rights are so-called rights. There are many of us. We are part of each and every family, and you know, and once we start coming out, will it change? And I'm not going to go back so easily. No, the fight is totally on, and it will go on till the end.